Welcome to Veggies and Herbs. My name is Ruben. Now we're in the middle of summer here in South Africa, and today I would like to share with you some of the gardening tasks that I'm doing currently to ensure that I keep my garden healthy and productive. So all of that is coming up in this video. Now first on the summer task is watering. So since temperatures are rising, it's important to keep the plants hydrated. So I prefer to water my plants early in the morning or early evenings. This will just ensure that no evaporation is taking place, and this will also allow the plants to get sufficient drink before the day starts. So I will normally use a can or a hose because this just allow me to actually monitor and see the condition of the plants in my garden. I managed to quickly set up a micro sprinkler irrigation system, and I use a timer just to ensure that while I'm away from my garden, that the plants are still getting hydrated. It managed to work quite well, but since the micro sprinklers also put water on the leaves, I'm concerned that it might lead to some fungal disease. But it managed to keep my garden alive while I was away. But I prefer to do it with a hose because it just allows me to inspect the garden every morning to see how my plants are doing. So for my containers, I also ensure that I water them in the morning as well in the afternoon, because I have found that containers dry out much quicker. So every morning I will water my container garden. As they say that it's advisable to water deep than frequent, so it's important for me to just water and ensure that I water at the root level where the water is actually needed. Now, pruning in a vegetable garden can also serve specific purposes. So depending on what you have, there will be certain guidelines. But for me, I'm having some tomatoes in my garden, so I'm just ensuring that I remove the suckers. Now, the suckers are just the shoots that grow between the main stem and the branches. And that by removing the suckers, it will just improve the growth and the fruit development of your plant. And also trim off the lower leaves that turn yellow to keep the overall plant healthy. On the other side, I have some squash that are growing. So yeah, I'm just removing some of the old yellow leaves so that the plant will be able to direct their growth towards the growth of the butternut. But on the other side, this variety is growing quite amazingly. So I've seen that it is moving over to other sections of the garden. So on this plant, I will just trim back the extra vines that are growing so that they cannot grow over. But otherwise, pruning can be used for different reasons. So for herbs, it's important to pinch off on a frequent basis just to make your herbs grow bushier. But overall, this is some of the pruning activities that I'm doing in my garden. We're not the only ones who love the summer period, but pests also love this season, and your garden can be affected by different pests like the aphids, spider mites, caterpillars. But whatever might be affecting you, it's important to consider organic ways of managing the pests. But for my butternut, I must admit that this is keeping me awake at night. Is the idea that my plants might get affected by the notorious fruit fly. So in the previous video, I did discuss some of the measures that I'm taking, but I'm primarily using a trap with the hope to actually deal with the fruit fly. For double protection, I'm also using the nets to protect some of my butternut that has already developed. But with this big variety of butternut that is growing this side, they are growing quite well. And at this moment, I'm just wishing that, man, can you already be ready to harvest before it gets affected? Because when it comes to gardening, you cannot celebrate until you have harvested the plant, because anything can happen. So I'm hoping for the best. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for this other butternut to get ready, I will just go ahead and harvest this one, as we hope and pray that this variety that I'm looking forward to harvest in the future will survive. But there you have it, guys. These are some of the things that I'm doing to ensure that I keep my garden in order. I will put a link here If you haven't watched the video on my butternut battle plan, you can click here on the screen. And if you are not sure whether you should start growing vegetables this year, I've also put a video here that will explain to you some of the reasons why you should consider growing your own food this year. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you in future videos. Keep on sowing and growing. Cheers.